Ladies, gentlemen, y'all know what it is. New week, new video. I know it's been a minute, but I gotta hit you with the news of the day and how it's got me feeling. And let me just, go ahead and throw out something that just kind of hit me in my soul that kind of best describes how I'm feeling.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus won. Jesus won.
That's enough of that because I don't want to waste too much of y'all time. I want to really just dive into it. But oh, happy day. Urban Meyer got fired today. I am thrilled about it. Why am I thrilled about it? If you've been following, then you guys absolutely know that I wasn't a fan of the Urban Meyer hiring, and I wasn't sure even how to deal with him, considering all the predictable shit that came with him. And so, where do I begin? I'm gonna post a link to one or two because I'm sure I've talked about it at least twice. Videos, if you guys missed it before, where you can see where I discussed my feelings about Urban Meyer. Big problem. Number one, you're in the NFL. You're supposed to be a leader of men. What that means to me is, and I'm a guy, and I know some people just love their sports and they don't think that deep about it, and that's what I would call a casual fan. And there's nothing wrong with being a casual fan, except for us real fans that are like, football is in our bones, right? Like we hurt when our team looks like this. Like we spend all year debating, thinking about ways to help the team, ways the team can be better. When those kind of fans are the ones that really deep think about this. So with that being said, when you're a leader of men and you're not a good man, that was the very thing I questioned when they did the hire. I brought up all the arrested Florida. I brought up how he left Florida in shambles. I brought up how he left Ohio State in shambles, how he hired his buddy that beat his wife, how he tried to sweep it under the rug, how he just tried to hire a racist or at very minimum racially insensitive strength and conditioning coach. He tried to hire him because, that's what they do. The Good Old Boys Club is they hire their boys, which we're starting to see a track record, right? With that being said, and it doesn't even end there. The embarrassment doesn't even end there. We signed Tim Tebow to try to play tight end. Okay? And to some of y'all, that doesn't sound bad, but I'm gonna swing back around to that to tell you guys why that's bad, right? To losing a game and not going home with your team, to staying behind and getting caught with a early 20s girl that's not your wife dancing in your lap, to what else am I missing? Like, ultimately, it was a Lambeau kickoff, one last final Jaguar kickoff that got everything set up for us. Thank you, Josh. I didn't agree with your release. I know you weren't playing well, but I also think it was due to injury. But it is what it is. To James, man, it can go on forever. To the James Robinson benching that all of a sudden, that he tried to lie to everybody and say he didn't bench him or he didn't know. All the bullshit that comes with Urban Meyer. He's not a good person. He's a snake oil salesman. He's a guy that will sell you a dream, and he talks. And then if you listen to him long enough, he'll talk you in circles, and you'll end up leaving. He's one of those people that'll talk, and you'll end up leaving like, what did we learn there really? Other than this guy might be an idiot. Okay? Vaccine status was considered in final cuts. What the hell? Like, first off, we all know that if you weren't a great player and you weren't vaccinated, there's a good chance you're probably getting cut. We all know how that works. Like, we know people got cut due to vaccination status. But you don't say that out loud. That's like one of those things that you just don't do out loud. We all got jobs. We all got things that, we're not the same person at work. We know we can't say the same things we say at home at work because we get fired. Like, but you're smart enough to know where and when you can pull that off. Urban Meyer was one of the most arrogant pieces of shit, and I'm sorry, guys. That's probably the third or fourth time I've cursed, but it really upsets me down to, I'd hate to say it, it even reeked of, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But those of you guys that know. All I'm going to say is arrogance was a big deal here. And the fact that you think that you can come here, and I touched on it in another video, and I said, the fact that you think you can come here, he walked around like he was doing the Jaguars a favor. And the biggest problem for me is, okay, and it doesn't just fall on Urban Meyer, okay? What happened to pride in ownership, right? And what I mean by that is, where it's rough to be a Jaguar fan is where are the people that have pride in what they do? So, for instance, before we lost Jalen Ramsey, anybody catch that he was on Bussing It with the Boys, I think it's called, the podcast with the Tennessee Titans offensive lineman, Taylor Lewan? Anybody catch that? The Titans are bitter rivals. He's on an off-season podcast chopping it up with them, discussing other teams he'd like to play for at that. Like, at what point, I understand that a lot of people don't look at the Jaguars as a destination that, they'd like to play for and yada, yada, yada. But you're here, right? How about being a part of the solution instead of suggesting you're not part of the problem, right? And what I mean by that is we had a great year that a few years ago where we went to the AFC Championship game. And the great thing about football is it's not always the most athletic, most talented team that wins the game. What I love about football is you can have subpar talent and still win the game if you have a brain. And this is why I've always been a proponent of, I'm not a big fan of the whole passing game, sissy kind of way that everybody's trying to do things. When we went to the AFC Championship game, that was exactly the kind of football I love. We were tough on defense. We came in to whoop your ass, and we ran the ball, and we had one of the worst quarterbacks ever throwing the ball. But we made it all the way to the AFC Championship game. And why is that? It's because we had a coaching staff that understood the weaknesses and the strengths of the team. I've discussed how I'm not a big 3-4 fan. I love the 4-3 because if you can drop everybody into coverage and get pressure with your front four, you're shrinking the field for the quarterback. The quarterback has to make tight throws. You're more likely to make mistakes. If you run the ball 25, 30 times and you run the clock, then Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, all these other quarterbacks have fewer opportunities. And because they have fewer opportunities, you can make them make mistakes. That's why we love this game, because you can scheme even though you have subpar talent and still win games, right? My problem is we went and hired Urban Meyer because he was the shiny thing. Then we got Trevor Lawrence, even though he doesn't quite fit the team dynamic in terms of the way we're built, right? We let go of all this talent. Now we got a quarterback that needs protection, needs a wide receiver, needs a good running game. We don't run the damn ball enough at all. We keep dropping him back like we got a good old line. We keep getting him drilled. We keep getting him moving on the run when we know his accuracy completely drops off a cliff after he's on the move. And then when that doesn't work, we have no defense to speak of. We have a couple talented players on the defense. We got Josh Allen, but unfortunately, the secondary has been so bad he can't even get to the quarterback. We have Miles Jack, who we thought we were getting a superstar. And while I love me Miles Jack, I'm not completely shitting on him. Don't get it twisted. Uh, I never felt like he's taking the superstar turn, and I have to question, what is he doing in the offseason? Why hasn't he taken the next step? You're a good linebacker, but why? But like, it's time. I challenged this year that he make the step to become Pro Bowl, All Pro type of player, because I believe he has that kind of talent. But when the culture's so bad, and you can say, well, the players are part of that culture, that's true, but it trickles down from the top. When the culture's so bad, you have to question what kind of men you are. I don't want the ones that go, I'm going to just go with the flow and I'm just here so I won't get fired. Right? Or I won't get fired, like Marshawn Lynch would say. You have to question those kind of people, right? And last season, we had all these draft picks, right? We drafted Travis Etienne with the second of 2 first-round picks. How much sense did that make to anybody else with James Robinson on the team? Anybody? I'll wait. No sense whatsoever. It was a wasted pick, right? Unless Travis Etienne comes back and becomes Dalvin Cook, okay? Which I'm sorry to break it to you guys. I was never high on Travis Etienne. I just hope he can be good, okay? I don't think he's talentless. I think he had speed, but we'll see what happens. He had a nasty foot injury. We'll see how he comes back from that. Hopefully he becomes Dalvin Cook. I don't see it, but hopefully, he becomes something. Why isn't Andre Cisco on the field? We got Walker Little. We don't know much about him. We got Jordan Smith. We don't know much about him. We got Jay Tufele. We don't know much about him. Like, I know some of these are injury problems, but the Andre Cisco thing is infuriating because we got Andre Wingard. Not Andre. You know what his name is. Wingard. We got him out there completely whiffing on passing plays. It's horrendous out there. But we thought we can just trade CJ Henderson. And again, I don't like CJ Henderson like that at all. But I despise the lack of value we got in return for him. 3rd round pick, and Dan Arnold will not suffice on any day the year after you draft somebody in the top 10. Caleb Von Chason, what are you doing, bro? Let's be a little patient with him because we knew that was going to be a little bit of a project. I don't want to completely bash this team. I think this team, under the right tutelage, can go somewhere and do some things. I knew this was going to be a rough season based on the hire, based on the way we were set up and everything. Urban Meyer was not a good man for the many reasons I listed before, and it became comical, and he literally made us a laughing stock. I hope he never gets another one of these jobs, all right? Because he's that deplorable of a human being to me. Okay, the guy doesn't respect his wife. The guy doesn't respect other people's wives. The guy doesn't respect people. You know what I'm saying? Did you see? It wasn't John Gruden bad where he hated gays and was racist, but he tried to hire a racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, he kicked a kicker and said, I'm the head ball coach. Like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Who the hell do you think you are? You think you can pull this stuff off? I'm going to sit in the bar, get a lap dance. What? After a loss. What? What are you talking about? Bro, this was... I'm embarrassed today as a Jag fan. His firing is the best thing that happened this season. I don't know where we go from there. I feel bad for Trevor Lawrence because, I really hated to have him... We put him behind the 8 ball. I feel bad that we're going to have to put him behind another coaching regime, learning a new thing, and we set him back a year. I hate it. But I'm welcome to it all. People say they don't want a defensive-minded head coach. I am all about defense. If you hire the right defensive-minded coach and he hires the right offensive-minded staff, there's no reason it can't work whatsoever. That's my thoughts. But I'm all for Eric Bieniemy. I don't want to see Byron Leftwich. I don't think he's been there enough. He's got Tom Brady, running the show. Like, I need to see more. I'm all for Jim Caldwell. No more college coaches, man. No more. Bring in experience if somebody knows what they're doing. All right. Let me know what y'all think. Hit the like and subscribe. Peace.